2024 season was proudly brought to you by Coca-Cola, Skell Rice, Milo, Ella Motors, the Lay Biscuit Company, ExxonMobil PNG, and SP Brewery.
The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome to another edition of TVWAN News. I'm Tracy Pa. In this edition, Scouts aim for revival, LDC still waiting for approval, and 6 receive DAX awards. Over the weekend, from the 24th to the 26th, the Central Music Festival featured a range of informational stalls and product displays at Kwikila Station in Rigo District of Central Province. Among the exhibitors was the Scout Association of Papua New Guinea, which showcased their programs and handmade crafts to engage the community.
Despite being nearly a century old, the Scout movement in PNG has struggled due to a lack of community and government support, leading to decreased recognition and membership. Determined to revive the movement, the Scout Association is actively working to increase its presence nationwide. Eno Mase, Provincial Scout Commissioner of NCD and Central Province, shared their efforts at the festival.
Been invited to participate in the Central Music Festival, and at the same time we are doing some Scout awareness here. Talking is all about developing youth to become good citizens in the community.
Scouting is now being integrated into schools with programs active at Hagara Primary School in NCD and schools in Lae Marba Province. In 2 weeks, the Scout Association plans to launch scouting at Alan Jones Memorial Primary School and Hood Point High School in Central Province. With around 10,000 members nationwide, including approximately 4,000 in NCD and Central Province, the Scout Association is expanding its reach. They offer programs for various age groups: junior scouts ages 3 to 6 years, scouts 7 to 12 years old, senior scouts 17 to 21 years, and adult leaders who guide the troops. The Scout Association's participation in the Central Musical Festival marked a significant step towards rejuvenating scouting in Papua New Guinea, inspiring a new generation to join the movement.
And Scout is a value-based association where we change the mindset and the behaviors of youth to become good citizens in the community they live in.
Carol Kidu Jr., TVWAN News.
The Rigo Women in Agriculture Cooperative Society displayed a range of fresh and processed products at the Central Music Festival, highlighting their journey and achievements. Established in 2009 with the seed capital of 2,000 kina as a government initiative, the cooperative has grown through farmer training and community involvement. Chairperson Nelly Bola noted that their efforts were recognized with the Pride of PNG Award in 2011. The CPL Foundation has since supported them with market access and transportation.
That's what I'd like the district and provincial to help us to come up with a consolidation center. We are operating either in our homes and our farm at Kokebabu, and I'm so thankful of this event because this event gives us an opportunity and avenue where we women bring our showcase items, telling the community, telling the government what we are doing and what we are capable of.
The Livestock Development Corporation is still waiting for the approval of the policy framework from the National Executive Council. LDC Managing Director Terry Coim shared that one of LDC's key priorities area was to set up policy and legislative.
Policies created will ensure that all activities undertaken in an organization occur with the simple aim of ensuring the organization achieves its objectives. LDC is prioritizing the Livestock Development Corporation policy and the legislative, which was launched earlier this year. This will allow legislation to be formed on the back of the policy, capturing the institutional arrangements of the new regulatory authority, which LDC is transitioning to become. The draft policy depicts the medium-term development plan 4, which highlights the increase of farmers, farms, abattoirs, downstream processing, amongst others.
Because LDC is the only state-owned agency dealing with the livestock business, he said, you take care of this and then make sure that the LDC transitions to become a regulatory authority. So what we have done so far is we have submitted an NEC submission capturing the policy and the legislation that is supposed to be passed by NEC or endorsed by NEC to be passed by Parliament.
Coim shared that the draft policy is now before the Central Agencies Coordinating Committee at the Prime Minister's office.
So I'm still waiting for CACC to give me some feedback so I can go and defend the submission, and then it should go on to NEC for approval, and all the necessary process need to take place in order for the bill to be passed and for the policy to be implemented.
Coim shared that once the policy is in place, LDC can start rolling out most programs to implement the government's directives. Jasmine Jack, TVWAN News.
6 Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary Police recruits were awarded with DAX awards for their outstanding performances. The recruits, consisting of 1 female and 6 males, received their awards during the pass-out parade at the Bomana in Port Moresby on Friday.
6 Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary Police recruits who passed out from the force last week Friday were awarded with DAX awards for their outstanding performances. They are Pata Lang Emmanuel, Samuel Ogizo, Delorine Diva, Bruno Lane, Gerard Obet, and Ezekiel Belden Simatab. Initially, they were grouped into 6 groups called squads. Each has its trainer who trained them during the 9 months of rigorous training. From the 217, 6 stood out. Speaking on behalf of the recruits, the only female DAX, Delorine Diva, 21 years old from Bogia in Medang province, said despite the tough training they have undergone for the past 9 months, discipline was a core focus. More emphasis was put into.
Discipline is one major thing that they've been emphasizing and strictly.
She said unlike the other recruits, she was inspired by her dad to join the force.
I think my main inspiration behind all this is my dad. He was once a serving member.
The inspiration she got from her dad closed no barriers as she decided to apply for the force, leaving behind her studies as an accounting and finance student at the Institute of Business Studies University.
Only the first semester, and then due to school fee issues, I had to drop out. And then I was at home, just staying at home until the recruitment was open and me applying.
Delorine encourages teenagers like her who are still finding a pathway in life to keep chasing their dreams. She said taking baby steps is the way forward.
Chasing your dreams, even if it's small, just baby steps, one step at a time.
Meanwhile, the overall Dux, Gerard Obet from Hela and Enga province, said he was delighted to receive the overall Dux award because he had put a lot of effort into his training. Obet, who comes from a simple family, said community policing was a key driver during the 9 months of training, and he intends to implement more community policing when he goes out to serve as a police officer. Carol Kiddo Jr.
Those true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Open Maps.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different packed sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier by you like you more.
Welcome back. Victorians are being warned not to rush out and stock up on eggs as two separate bird flu outbreaks stoke concerns over supply. Authorities are working around the clock to ensure both cases are contained, but the industry is not taking any chances.
Tracking, tracing and containing the threat from bird flu.
It is very stressful at the moment, there's no doubt about it.
For the poultry industry, it's very important that this disease is eradicated.
Authorities have detected 2 outbreaks on separate Victorian farms, different strains with the same cause, wild birds. More than 500,000 chickens have had to be culled, leading to concerns over falling supply and rising costs in the shops.
This is now an accessibility problem. It's not that you can't get eggs, you just may not be able to get eggs in the traditional place that you know and love, or possibly the brand. So it's really important that you shop around.
The US has now restricted imports of all Victorian poultry products from May 22nd. It's a small market, but it's still a blow. To stop the spread, poultry within 15 kilometres of the outbreaks will have to stay housed in sheds or cages for at least 28 days, and farms around the state have boosted biosecurity.
Really, the key aim is to try and maintain a separation between wild birds and domestic poultry.
Avian influenza is a constant threat to the industry. Wild birds carry the virus all the time. To mitigate that, farmers say they avoid putting all their eggs in one basket, mixing up their housing methods between free-range, cage and barn-laid, spread over multiple locations.
No matter how good your biosecurity is as a farm, this will always simply be a risk.
Authorities say the risk to people remains very low, but Australia did just record its first human infection from another strain of bird flu in March. A 12-year-old boy returning to Melbourne from India, who's now fully recovered.
Students participating in a pro-Palestinian encampment at the Australian National University in Canberra say the institution's decision to rethink its link to arms companies with Israeli connections does not go far enough. Yesterday's announcement did not stop more than 100 people marching from Civic to the university, calling for immediate action on its investments.
A sea of red, white and green, marching from the city centre to the ANU, calling for the university to sever ties with weapons companies connected with the Israeli military. Yesterday, the university agreed to re-examine its investment portfolio at its council meeting in 3 weeks' time, hoping it would end a month-long student encampment on university grounds. But the ANU's Gaza Solidarity Group says that's inadequate.
All they have committed to do is, in about a month's time, potentially discuss the possibility of changing their investment policy, which we think is very little movement, it's weak-willed, and it is not at all an answer to our demands.
So far, the ANU has given 11 students a move-on order because they're believed to have been staying in tents on campus. The ANU Jewish Union is supportive of the encampment, though it does object to the behaviour of some of the protesters, and it wouldn't be drawn on the uni's investment policy.
We at August don't want to see the encampment shut down. We support free speech, we support the right to protest, but it really needs to happen respectfully. I'm not going to provide kind of moral commentary on the ANU's investment decisions.
Liberation now, 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 now. While some universities across the country have reached agreements with those participating in encampments like this, those here at the ANU say that a meeting in next June is simply not enough, and they won't stop campaigning until their demands are met in full. It's a sentiment shared by many here.
It's particularly important for me as a Jewish person to show up to a solidarity event like this, to show that I am not in any way threatened by Palestinian liberation.
We had been speaking for 25 weeks or something before this encampment started, but this encampment's had more effect and has produced more results than what we had been doing for a long time.
An ACT policing spokesperson confirmed no arrests had been made.
Vivid Festival is best known for its futuristic light shows, but if you look beyond the dazzling display, and you will also find plenty of history. With a National Reconciliation Week about to start, Indigenous performers have used Vivid's opening weekend to share their stories. After 7 months since the Voice referendum, they are hoping it can help bring Australians together to close the gap. ABC reports.
Dusk arrives at one of the country's biggest festivals. And for Indigenous artists, it's time to shine.
Just being who we are and being able to have that space to celebrate who we are and do that together, it's very empowering.
This year's first light performance at the Vivid Festival is honouring Sydney Harbour's ancestral women.
They were actually the first commercial traders in the colony. The colony was starving, and so they proceeded to catch more fish and provide food.
It's stories like these some are hoping will bring Australians together following the resounding defeat of the Voice referendum in October.
There was a deep sadness, but like we do when we have a flood, let's all deal with it together and then we can move forward. You're going to hear us roar, you're going to cry with us, and then we're going to see hope, because there is so much hope. We just don't see it or hear it.
While things are lighting up here, it has been a quiet period for many following the referendum. And although an Indigenous voice is no longer on the table, Reconciliation Week is reminding Australians the work isn't over yet.
The issues that we're dealing with are still the same as they were before the referendum. The things that we see as the way forward hasn't changed either. We've just got to chart a different path.
Now that the setback has happened for all of us, to keep forging forward strong ways together.
Putting the voice behind them and creating a new and brighter future.
And that ends the news segment. Sports is next. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
flavor, puts in more taste. Magic kakaro, get up and big smile on face. Time for kimchi, can I great kumutu? Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Magic, the taste PNG loves.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
Enjoying life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot and talk, young or old, let's calories, family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's our favorite from us. Tennessee cola, scale rice, don't scale price. Tennessee cola, scale rice, don't scale price. Amber, you like it?
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Henow, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
Thanks for staying with us. In round 7 of the Digicel ExxonMobil Cup competition, triple header at the National Football Stadium in Port Moresby today saw Mount Hagen Eagles register a win against a high sprinter Kimbe Cutters 12-6. The Cutters show much energy in an ever contest against a tough Eagles side, with a man from Western Highlands taking an early lead at half-time 10-6. The second half was a tough match with both teams left scoreless until the Eagles registered a 2-pointer to win. In the second match, East New Britain Couriers proved their supremacy over luckless Gulf Isohu, trusting them 38-0. In the third match, Ella Wigman 12 defeated the NCDC Vipers 6. Here are the match highlights.
Michael, and I think he's claiming a try.
On his favorable side as well, swinging it around, and it's good.
He played really well, and converting the try from near the touchline, he's done really well for his team.
Yeah, bringing a bit of fortune from his Lahani's days, I guess. They go back towards the short side, and Michael looking for his second this afternoon, and the celebration continues here for the Eagles. But
16.
Chahagan looking for options. Short ball away to Big Muka and slams it down. Looks so easy. So Garrett dummy half in the 17. Untidy play the ball there, but Ga is held up over the line. So the Eagles now applying pressure on the Cutters defense, working the short side, and that looks forward. Yeah, referee's going to call it back here for a forward pass. Very low percentage in that department, but here they are now, just hanging on as the Eagles now working it forward. That's a dangerous throw there.
Well, this kick is very important for the bearing on this game. Good kick, and he's got it.
Oh, Jargon has got the ball now right at the stroke of full time, and that's it.
With 3 months until the Paris Paralympics, hundreds of Australian athletes are in the final stages of their preparation. But Australia will not represent in the sports. Blind football and goalball are 2 sports that have missed selection and are now shifting their focus to Brisbane 2032.
Always a crowd favourite at the Paralympics.
But Australia has never competed in the sport at the Games. Australian men's team player, 51-year-old Shahram Jazan, is hoping to change that.
This is one of my wish. I don't know if I can be able to participate because, as you know, I am the grandpa. When you basically run on the field, you feel free.
The Australian women's goalball team has competed at 5 Paralympics but missed out on qualifying for Paris. Tokyo Paralympian Brodie Benson is determined to help the team grow.
It's like my place to shine. It's like my place. It's a safe place that's so supportive, and it just feels like a home and a community.
Goalball is a unique sport. There is no Olympic equivalent. And like blind football, it struggles to access funding, meaning that many of the athletes self-fund to compete.
We've got 8 Paralympic sports currently that are not funded from a high performance perspective, and that's based on their prior history in terms of their performance.
Australia is likely to be represented in only 16 of the 22 sports at this year's Games. Paralympics Australia wants to ensure the likes of blind football and goalball are successful in Brisbane 2032.
We're really confident and working closely with our system partners and key stakeholders at the Australian Institute of Sport to ensure that those programs have support moving into the future.
This includes funding, coaching support, classification opportunities for new athletes, talent identification programs, and more chances to compete internationally.
There'll be lots of 10, 15, 20-year-old athletes now, or emerging athletes, that will be in prime peak performance in 8 years' time.
To be able to put our squad into, say, even a World Championships 7 years out from a home Paralympics in Brisbane would be a massive thing for our squad.
Building that base of players now gives us plenty of time to expand them and grow them and help them continue to develop, so we have a really strong team moving forwards.
And even for those athletes who might not be in Brisbane, there is still the opportunity to be a part of the team.
I will be able to do some coaching, mentoring, or taking the team to do next stage.
And now the weather focused.
Southern region, Port Moresby, mostly fine and partly cloudy. Momase, Lae, partly cloudy with few showers. New Guinea Islands, Lorengau and Kimbe, partly cloudy with some rain showers. Highlands, Mount Hagen, partly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms.
And that ends the news tonight. Have a top week ahead. Bye now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.